Hey everyone, I know it's been a few weeks, maybe even a month since I've done anything. I've just been doing little things on the car, really, so there hasn't been a whole lot to film. As you can see over the last month, this video is only, 15, 20 minutes long. So, yeah, that's just why nothing's really been put out there. The boy's been daily driving the car, had the sunroof out. So there's a few things in this episode that we've done to try to work on fixing some of the little things that just need to be done. And here you go. All right, so today we are going to work on the emergency brake. My brother's in town, so he's going to come by and he's going to help. And I think we can also work on... we're going to check out what's going on with the wiper speed. And then also maybe fix the phone mic as well. So those will be the three things I want to kind of work on today, hopefully. All right, so I think we got the parking brake figured out. It only goes up about 4 clicks total now. I'm going to put this in here. I cannot move that at all. And I cannot move that at all. So I think our parking brake situation may be fixed. So I got to put the tires back on, lower the car, and see if it'll hold on the hill. All right, so here we go. We're on a pretty good hill. Put it on as much as I can. Let off my brake. And I am being held by the emergency brake. That was easy enough. So that is fixed. We can take that off the list. All right. Let's see. Parking brake. Off the list it goes. All right. Okay, so we're working on the wiper, and as you can see, everything is out. So we ended up taking out the linkage too. I cleaned the contacts and the wires, and it seemed to help with the wipers going a little faster. So we ended up taking the whole linkage out. And I didn't do any filming, and I thought about it afterwards. But this piece is here. And this goes here, and it attaches to these 2 screws here. So you need to take that out in order to get the linkage out. And you also, at least we had to take off the cover for the motor as well. So then this was able to come out, and we re-greased all the ball joints and everything. Hopefully that'll run a little bit smoother. And now we have just got to reassemble. So we'll work on doing that. All right, so we put everything back together, the linkage and everything, and the wipers still only move slow. So what we did was we tested the power going to the motor when we were doing fast and slow, and both of those get 12 volts. But when we plugged it in, and also we took power direct from the battery to the motor, and it went fast and slow, depending on what wire we hooked it into for the motor. So when we had it hooked up to the harness, when we would do the fast part, we put the voltmeter on the outside of the wires here. We put it in here, and it would drop down to 6 volts when we put it on high. So I don't think it's the motor. I don't think it's the wiring. I think it has something to do with the stock. And I have the spare stock from that Volkswagen one that I bought up there. So that's going to be the next thing that I try as far as the wipers and why they're only going one speed, and that's just slow. So we are going to try that next. Okay, so here is with the new stock in there. That is slow. That is fast. So the problem was in the stock itself. So I'll use this stock for it. Now we've got somewhat fast windshield wipers. All right, so we finally got one of the parts in that I have been waiting for. It's this little bushing, and it's for the steering column inside the car. So I don't know if you'll remember, but when I first took it off way back 2 years ago, there was a bunch of plastic parts all crumbled inside. And I thought it was plastic that went around where the bearings were in the ignition lock assembly. Well, it turns out that it was this. And I didn't even realize that you had to have one of these until I saw something somewhere. So I've been waiting on that part because I've got to fix the odometer. I'm going to try the other stock for the windshield wipers that I have in my box. And I'm going to wrap my steering wheel as well. So I have to take all that off. So I only wanted to do that one time. So I've been kind of waiting on this part for me to be able to do that. I then have this part. This is not for the Porsche. This is for the Bug. It is the passenger side front axle because the boot is sliced on the one that's in the car and all the grease has come out. And of course, you can't just buy a split boot and replace the boot. You've got to buy the whole entire thing. So this is a fairly decent sized job. This will be something that we take on here a little bit later. But I'm hoping to be able to get the odometer fixed, get the bushing in, get the windshield wipers going correctly, and then wrap that steering wheel all at one time. I've got some tacky glue, some adhesive and stuff to kind of tack the leather down to the steering wheel. So that is going to be on the list of trying to get that done this weekend. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the steering wheel off. And actually, I think I want to make sure my tires are straight. I think that they are. Get the steering wheel off. Get the wiper stock or the stalks off. Get that bushing in there. Get the odometer out so we can fix that again. And then we're going to wrap the steering wheel, or try to at least. I think we're going to see how that goes. And we'll go from there. Okay, so now we have got the ignition switch out. That's out of the way. I didn't need to take this out to get this off. There's 2 screws here and here. Pull the cluster out, I'll be able to get the odometer out. But I need to get this out because that bushing goes right in here. So I figured since I have to take it out anyway, I might as well get it out before I try to take this out. Just less stuff in the way. So next thing will be to take the cluster out and get the odometer out. And just like that, the odometer is out again. So, yep, we will take this apart again. I'm betting that gear has slipped off of that again. So we'll take a look at it when we get in there and then figure out a way to keep the gear in place will be the next thing. So let's get it taken apart again. Okay, so sure enough, see how that gear slipped back behind there? So now when it turns, it doesn't turn, which means the odometer doesn't turn. So I've got to get that gear off and then I've got to put something back there to stop it from going back all the way and not turning. So we'll work on that. All right, looks like we got it working again. My trip meter's not working, but the odometer is. So what I did, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, a little rubber piece in there. It was actually one of these little grommets, and this was actually the perfect size as far as the hole goes. I did have to trim some of it off because it was pushed out a little bit too far and it wasn't engaging with the drive on this end. So yeah, it's back in now. Looks like it's almost in the middle. I guess maybe I could shave a little more off and try to get that more in the center of that cog. Might be right. But it's moving, and it's moving everything. As you can see, the numbers have started to switch over to 40 from 39. So maybe I'll do that, but that's what I ended up having to do, was just get something in there to stop that gear from going this way too much. But it looks like it's maybe out just a little bit too far, so I think I'll shave just a little bit more off and then put it back together. But that should fix it. All right. Cluster is back in. Next, we are going to work on this and try to get that on there and put it in there, and that'll hopefully help with some of this slop that I have. Kind of driving me nuts a little bit, so I'm pretty sure that's what that is. It's not going to take it. That's not all the slop. That's because this isn't in, but there's just a little bit of room inside there, and that's what this takes care of. So hopefully that'll work. All right, so that is back in, and now you can see there's no slop at all. So that fixed that. So I'm happy about that. So we just have to get the stalks in, and then we can start on wrapping the wrapping the steering wheel. Awesome. Hey, everything's back together. Nice and solid, and wipers work. Very slow and slow, but still better than with that other stalk. So the stalk was the problem. And I don't know if you remember, it's not a Porsche stalk. This was a VW stalk that I got. And it seems to work fine. My intermittent relay, my intermittent wipers, and my home still do not work. And I bought a used relay, maybe that's it, or I don't know what's going on with it, but at least we can drive it in the rain now because I have something more than just super slow wipers. So the next thing will be is to try to start wrapping the steering wheel. All right, so here's the steering wheel with the leather on it. I don't know what these two pieces of leather are for. I have no idea. Because this covers the wheel. I don't think it's for like the back here. But I guess it could be, but I don't really see how that would fit around there. So, not quite sure what those are for. But now, it's just a matter of getting it stretched and getting it stitched up together. So we're going to have to learn how to stitch. Should be fun. Well, there you have it. It's wrapped. Did pretty good. Couple of spots, like right there. The leather just wasn't big enough, especially once it got to where it was done together. They didn't have enough leather. So, but luckily that's on the top, so you really don't see that. But, I mean, this came together really nice. So I think we will go ahead and put it back in the car, and then we're done for the day. So that took like 2.5 hours to do that. So it wasn't any short deal at all. So, but pretty happy with it. So ran into a problem driving down the road, and my horn kept going off. And I had noticed this before, but my ring was bad and it was chunked up in places. Well, apparently it got caught right on that little part right there. See how that's chunked out too? And it just started ripping the brass ring apart. And all of a sudden, my horn just kept going off as I was driving. So I've cut off all the edges that I could. I rounded that off, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But I need to get a new rig. And I found a used one on eBay for like $23 or something like that. So a used one. But it looks like it's in decent shape. So that should be okay, and I'll just replace it when I get it in. But yeah, weirdest thing. All of a sudden, the horn just keeps going off.